Member for Canberra.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I rise today in support of the Export Control Amendment Ending Live Sheep Exports by Sea bill. This bill is an incredibly important milestone for our Parliament's commitment to animal welfare. Deputy Speaker, when I was first elected in 2019, live sheep exports quickly became one of the issues that constituents were contacting me about more than many others. Many hundreds of my constituents emailed me to express their outrage after a whistleblower made public footage of a voyage to the Middle East. More than 2,000 sheep died on that vessel. The video showed sheep crammed into dirty pens, panting from heat stress and leaping over one another to access food. Carcasses piled up, some thrown overboard, newborn lambs caught up in the carnage despite laws that meant to prevent pregnant ewes on board. Ending the practice of live sheep exports remains one of the key issues that Canberrans raise with me, and I want to thank them for their ongoing advocacy. And I also want to thank the many members of the Canberra community who got in touch to thank our government for this legislation. When we were in opposition in my first term, I was pleased to raise this issue with the former Minister for Agriculture, the member for Maranoa, calling on him to follow the lead of New Zealand and put an end to live sheep exports. And I was proud when in opposition we committed to getting that done in both the 2019 and 2022 elections. And I was proud to write to our new Minister for Agriculture, Senator Watt, calling on our government to honour this commitment as well. And today with this bill, the government is honouring our commitment to end the live sheep export trade. Because, as Benjamin Anderson, Madeline Stewart and Aidan Whitfield, three young people from my electorate, recently told me when they presented me with their petition on this issue, nothing justifies live exports. Deputy Speaker, this bill will prohibit absolutely the export of from Australia of live sheep by sea on and after the 1st of May 2028. This date reflects the recommendations of an independent panel, provides certainty to farmers, supply chain businesses, the Australian community and to trading partners, and will support a more successful transition to onshore value adding through domestic processing. Deputy Speaker, those opposite have claimed that this will end farming in Australia. And I just want to say, listening to this debate, we have heard many of those opposite talk about people representing city electorates like my own, speaking in support of this and not understanding the industry. And what I would say to that is, I have the deepest respect for farmers and people who work in agriculture, including many in my own family. And I do appreciate the critical role in our economy and community that they hold. But this is about moving on from a particular part of this industry that I feel is not justified. This cruelty to the sheep that we see is not justified, and our government is working to support those farmers and communities through this. And those opposite are also ignoring the fact that live sheep export industry has reduced by 90% since 2001, from 6.5 million head of sheep then to 652,000 head of sheep today. And the fact that live sheep exports by sea were worth only $77 million last year compared to the $4.5 billion in sheep meat exports. Ending this trade is not the hit to farmers those opposite claim. This is an industry that is already on the decline. And this government isn't just leaving those farmers who currently still work in this industry to fend for themselves. We've put $107 million on the table to ensure an orderly and well-planned transition away from the trade. And as I said, knowing farmers in my own family, I know that farmers are adaptable. They have to be to the conditions they face, and that they know when an industry is in decline and when something is no longer working. Support is on the table now so that the industry can start to plan, so that those affected by the phase-out are well-positioned, resilient and ready when the trade ends in 2028. In fact, ending this trade will ensure that more sheep are processed here in Australia, employing more people throughout the supply chain. It means that more people employed in Australian abattoirs, more Australians employed in Australian butchers and so on, value adding to our economy and to our agricultural industries. And importantly, it means that we will have full oversight and confidence that our high standards for animal welfare are adhered to. And this is something that many of those opposite have in the past supported. And I want to draw attention to when in 2018, the now Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, the member for Farrer, introduced a private member's bill supported by Senator Henderson, the then member for Corangamite, the member for Leichhardt and the member for Latrobe. The member's bill would have ended the live export trade then. And the member for Farrer said at the time, "The case for continuing long-haul live sheep exports fails on both economic and animal welfare grounds. The live sheep export trade is in terminal decline. The litany of animal cruelty in the live sheep trade makes a mockery of the industry's no fear, no pain mantra. This is an industry with an operating model built on animal suffering." In a joint media release with Senator Henderson, the member for Farrer also said, "Our personal conviction on this issue remains, and we will continue to advocate for a change in coalition policy for a phase-out of this awful trade." Deputy Speaker, unfortunately the cruelty of this industry remains, and the only thing that has changed is the conviction of some of those members opposite who have seemingly sacrificed those beliefs. And I hope that they will support this bill, because this is an important step we are taking for the welfare of animals in this country. I'm proud to be a member of a government that has followed through on its commitment to end the live sheep export trade, and I commend this bill to the House. I've been really pleased to hear from members of my community who have been supportive of this bill, and want to thank you again for your advocacy.
And I give the call to the member for Forest.